Okay, second, all right. Y'all don't want to sound off. Y'all don't want to move with your purpose. All right, too easy. Check this out. A two, a change, half right, drop in repetition, move. Most likely when you get in trouble in basic training, you're gonna hear a lot of that right there. What up, it's your boy Drill Sergeant Lynch back in here with another motherfucking video. I wanna tell y'all what happens when you get in trouble when you're in basic training. So most of the time you'll have about three things. You probably have about three things that's gonna happen when you get in trouble in basic training. One, you're gonna get some physical corrective training. You might have to do some PT. It might be push-ups, it may be sit-ups, it may be the rower, it might be the squat benders by the numbers. Trust me, you don't want nothing. You don't want no exercise to be done by the numbers. Just different exercises that will make you do certain amount of whenever you get in trouble in basic training. On top of that, a lot of yelling. I yell all the freaking time. I love to yell. Not just because somebody's done something that pissed me off or they got in trouble, but just because I like to motivate people. If I yell, most of the time that's when people start moving. I could tell someone, hurry up, let's go. But then when I hit them with a hurry up, let's go, hurry up, that's when I see them start freaking moving and start running and stuff like that. So sometimes I yell to motivate people, and I yell a lot. Even when somebody's in trouble, they done something that pissed me off that's just wrong, then that's when I start freaking yelling too. So yelling is another thing that's gonna happen when you get in trouble. Also, you might get something what's called a 4856. A 4856 is a counseling statement, your counseling statement. So that is when you get in trouble. You do something and your drill sergeant or cadre, somebody will write it, they'll type it up on paper, what it is that you did, what could happen to you, why it's wrong, all that good stuff. If you're breaking the Army values, if you're not acting in accordance with the Army values, if you're breaking a regulation, if you're not upholding the standard as far as a company policy letter or something like that, if you were counseled on a specific thing to do something and you're not doing that, that is something that you may get, or you may also get a counseling, a 4856, that's gonna let you know what you did that violated or that's gonna get you in trouble, right? So you may get a counseling. In that counseling, you're also gonna get a plan of action. It's gonna be on the backhand side of the counseling. Your plan of action is your punishment, if that's what you wanna call it. Your corrective training, your corrective action on that. It could be anything. Anything that you've done, your punishment should match your crime. So for instance, I've had a trainee who left his weapon inside the barracks and didn't bring the weapon outside when he had to report in the morning time for first formation. So what I did, I wrote up a counseling and I said, from now on, you're gonna come to me whenever we go to chow, or it's basically chow time. You're gonna come to me or one of my battle buddies, and you're gonna say, drill sergeant, this is my weapon right here. I'm handing it off to this battle buddy right here. So you always gotta come up, show me that you have accountability of your weapon and that you're passing it off to somebody else. Just something like that. You may have to write an essay. I love to make my trainees write essays and stuff like that. So it could be anything, just depending on what it is. And my thing, I gotta get creative when I give my corrective training. And then also, depending on your crime or how many times you have done some things that are not in accordance with the regulations or with how you're supposed to be conducting yourself in basic training, you could also get an Article 15 or something even worse. So you'll get on your counseling and you'll speak to the company commander, first sergeant, all that good stuff, and they'll let you know from there what's gonna happen. You've done this many times, this is what you violated, all that good kind of stuff, and your punishment is gonna be this. So you can get things like this. It could be something along the lines of this. You might get extra duty, you might get your pay taken from you, you can get your time taken from you, you might get a phone call, your phone calls taken from you, any privileges or anything, company commander and drill sergeants get that stuff taken away from you, right? So that's some of the things that could happen. I think the worst thing that could happen, in my eyes, the worst thing that could happen is getting kicked out of the Army. You can do something in basic training that could eventually get you kicked out of the Army. You could even get what's also called a new start over. So let's say you completed res phase your first 3 weeks, you completed white phase your second 3 weeks, and at the end of white phase or in the middle of white phase, you did something that was just, it wasn't good. You just did something that wasn't good. So initially what that could do, that could get you a new start over where you have to go back and with another unit, start all the way over at the very beginning of basic training and do everything all over again. All the training, all that, dealing with the battle buddies, all that stuff all over again. These are some of the things that could happen to you if you get in trouble while you're in basic training. For the most part, the basic trainees, you're gonna do little stupid stuff that is not initially, it's not really that bad. It just depends on who you are and stuff. It just depends. But you might do something that's not that bad, where you just might have to do some push-ups or some physical training or something like that. The thing you got to realize also, depending on what phase you're in, it could just be you who's going to be doing the corrective training, or it could be the whole platoon. And sometimes even the whole company. I've done it plenty of times where my platoon is messing up. The whole company needs to understand, and they're supposed to be outside at formation at a certain time, and they're just not there at a certain time. So everybody will get down, front lean and rest. By the way, that's my favorite exercise. My go-to exercise is the push-up. I will stick with the push-up at all times. It's just what I do. It's what I don't know. It's just what I do. But there's been times where I've had the whole company in the front lean and rest position knocking out push-ups because their battle buddies are taking too long getting outside. Or maybe they just all sound weak and they're not sounding off, whatever the case may be. Maybe they're not running fast enough. They're not moving with a purpose. Same thing. Those are all good reasons, all reasons why in basic training that you might get in trouble. You might be in trouble. So as fam, I just want to tell y'all about that. And I got another video, let y'all know what could happen when you're in basic training. By the way, I hope y'all like my my Dashi shirt. This is my favorite YouTube gamer right here. It says, "Who was in the studio?" I just had to share that with y'all real quick. But anyway, those are some of the things that can happen to you when you get in trouble in basic training. S-Fam, stand up. S-Fam, salute. Get motivated up in this jank one time. It's Drill Sergeant Lynch. I'm going to holler at y'all. Happy Christmas Eve. Have a good Christmas Eve. I'm out, y'all. Deuces.